Namaste. Welcome to Stamping A to Z. I'm Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. Hopefully the volume's working. Never know. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Say hi. I'd love to hear from you. Click the like, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, if you like my videos. I love to do these videos, so I would love to grow my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Autumn Toile suite, which is a huge suite in our current mini catalog. It happens to be a coordinating product with our paper pumpkin from September, which is called Fall for Toile. So I thought I wanted to come on and show you kind of how they coordinate or what you can do with them to make it an even bigger suite than it's already a mega suite in the catalog. It has 2 bundles, papers, embellishments, ribbons, all the things. The paper pumpkin just adds on to it for even more possibility. So if you're a paper pumpkin subscriber, it's great to be able to do even more. Before we get started though, I wanted to let you know that the advent calendars that I mentioned last week, this is the first time Stampin' Up! Is offering an advent calendar. It's a 12-day calendar. It's kind of all occasion. It's not like totally Christmas. I don't even know if there's any Christmas. Well, I would assume there's some Christmas in there. But there's a stamp set that comes with it. Obviously, you need to have some supplies to be able to make projects with it. I have no idea what's in each of the days. They have not let anything slip. So that's available now. Stampin' Up! Is offering a Christmas class, card class, October 23rd, I think it is. And that registration begins October 1st, and that's with the Traditions of Christmas Big Suite. So that one should be good. There's World Card Making Day on October 4th. That is a free event with Stampin' Up! If you haven't registered, you can register. They do recommend having the kit. Usually it's like a stamp set, which you can kind of get around and use other supplies. I'm not sure if you'll be able to use other stuff if you don't have the kit, but I'm sure you can. You'll get ideas, whatever. So even if you register and watch and do your own crafting, it'll be fun. So hopefully you'll join into that. I do have my class schedule out. It's updated on my my Stampin' Up! Site. So if you go on there and look in my calendar, the events are all there. Yep, I think that's all the updates I have for you today. So let's get on to our episode for the day with all the toile. And I mean, I haven't even begun to touch the tip of the iceberg with what you can do with such a big suite, but I just have a few ideas for you, and hopefully it'll just kind of start the juices rolling and go from there. Hi, Linda. I need to call you. I got in bed last night and it's like, oh, I forgot to call. I've been running and running and running, so hopefully I will have some time today. I haven't forgotten about you. So let's get turned around as I get my hand in the way. Not the smoothest of transitions. So this is the Autumn Toile suite. So there's actually quite a few. So this is just things that were made with it, but it also has the main colors that are involved in the papers that you can match. And then these are the 2 stamp sets. They look very simple in the stamp sets, but it's the dies that kind of make everything come to life. There's this beautiful background leaf die. There's the trees that layer. There's the little deer. Like this one you can do some really cool, not land, background landscapes, I guess, with like the rocks and the trees. And then there's some really pretty toile paper. I really have to learn how to use paper better because I have not figured out, like I love the look of it. And I do use it in one of my things, but yeah, I have a hard time with the busier paper figuring out how to use it. So if you have ideas, I would love to hear from you. And then it comes, if you get the suite, it comes with, or you can get the earthen toned metallic specialty paper, which I have here. It is a beautiful, we don't have any embossing powder. I did put some with the copper embossing powder with this. It doesn't quite match, but it's, you know, all kind of the warm brown tones, but it's a really pretty, it comes with 3 sheets for this one. And then of course the DSP, and if you're like me and you have troubles using the busy side, there's the beautiful kind of more subtle side. So there's the beautiful toile, and then we've got these stripes, which is the more subtle, and then the little fox guy. And then there's this subtle one. And then I really like this. I just haven't figured out, like I think it would look great like for an album cover or like in a scrapbook, just for cards. I'm not sure. This would actually do for cards. And then this kind of looks like the leaf embossing folder from the online exclusive. So I think there's 3 sheets of each of these. I think that's all of them. Yeah. So that's all the designer series paper. And then, oops. Well, there's the embellishments. These are the streaked dots. They kind of like, they look like wood, but they kind of have a shine too. They're cool. And then there's this this ribbon. What's it called? Irregular weave. It reminds me of like the seaside, something oceany. I can't think, like the, what do you call it? You know, the spun, the like the loofah kind of, I don't know. It's cool. I didn't use it on my projects, but then I realized where I could use it. So hopefully I will remember to use it. Oops, I've got stuff stuck to me. And then the 2, so you can see they're quite large, like the stamps. Oh, they're not in there. They are cling though. So I think according to all the changes, I can't remember. I feel like because this goes to December and it switches over in November, they will start, these might become photopolymer as they run out of this. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I understood, which would be nice because these were, I was trying to stamp over top and, you know, red rubber cling isn't easy, but you can see these dies are massive. You've got the tree. I'll show you this tree. I'm going to be using it. And then you've got like the little deers, and then the cutouts for these ones, and then the beautiful background die. And then we add to this. So then, oh, that's the other, so this is the one I used. So I didn't use this suite, but I did use this One Sheet Wonder a couple weeks ago in my live. So you can always check that out. But here's another, like, this is how you could use this suite. And then these frames, I think I mentioned that I was hoping that Stampin' Up! Would show how they are done, and they are. I think it's on October 8th on their Facebook page. They're going to be showing how to make these frames. If you don't catch it, I'll probably I'll probably incorporate that into one of my lives, but I'm super excited about learning how to do those frames because I really wanted to know how they were made. And then, so then we have the paper pumpkin. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. So this is the September, oh, I'm gonna be way too close. Fall for Toile, September paper pumpkin. Now this is a cutout. This is not part of the paper pumpkin. So it has the stamp set. These are the stamps that it comes with. So super cute, good sentiments. It came with the Cajun Craze Stampin' Spot. And then I have a tendency to cut all of my card bases. So I go from 9 cards, because they're 3 each of 3 designs, to 18 cards. And I know I only have 9 envelopes, but I can always use regular white envelopes too. You know, you could add some paper from the Sweet, and it'll look just as good. And then it comes with the ephemera pieces, some dimensionals, and adhesive. It had a cute fox. It has these trees. So I'm going to use some pieces from the paper pumpkin, and I'm going to add it to the Sweet, so then we can just go even further with everything. The other thing that I am using, so those of you who are Paper Pumpkin subscribers know that every 3 months they release a die selection. It's just a small set of dies, usually, so it's just like this. So this has 3 die sets on it, and so these are the ones, I think it's all of these. I'd have to count how many it says, but anyways, so it had the strawberry from, I think it was July, August, September. Yeah, so I think the strawberry was July. August was the circle, and I haven't made August, so that just goes to show you. Anyways, and then there's the acorn for September, which goes with things. So I end up using the acorn from this. So I've got even more dies to pick from, not just the dies from the Sweet. All right, so for my first card, I have to give credit. So I was crafting with a friend of mine, and she is a paper pumpkin person. And so we were crafting together, and she came up, I had already sliced my cards, and I was like, oh no. And then she's like, oh, but that's okay, because then you can go from a card that's like this to a card that's like this. I was like, oh yeah. So Marcy Brulot is the one that came up with this card fold with using the paper pumpkin. Hi, Yolande. All good. I was running today too. I was not ready for my live this morning. I didn't know, when it rains, it pours. It just feels like there's so many things going on. And I told Mike the other day, I'm like, I have all these balls in the air and they feel like they're all falling down right about now. I am just feeling totally behind and have a million things to do. So anyways, I just scored this at 1/4 of an inch, because you could score it at 1/2 inch. It just depends how much card you want on this side. And I'm going to do a Z fold. So once you've got your score for this first part, because that's going to wrap around to the back of this, so this ends up being a little bit shorter, but that's why we're going to shorten this even more and do a Z fold, and you won't even know the difference. So I assume, because this is 5.5, now we're down to 5 1/4, so I should need 2 5/8, I would assume, from the other side to make it at 1/2. So Score that. It's hard to see. I mean, you can see the score line on this side, but it's, oops, I'm a little bit far on there. All right. And then, wait, how am I'm going like this. Nope. I'm going like this. I folded this the wrong way. And then I'm folding it like this. So it should be, oh, see, well, it's pretty much slightly off. So if you have some hanging off the edge and you don't like that, but once this is on here, you can't really tell. As long as it's not more than your, you know, even if it's just a smidge over the 5.5, which it is, it's not the end of the world, because the envelopes are just slightly larger. So you could use a piece of tear and tape here, because it is kind of the perfect size. And this way, by folding it this way, that's why it was looking wrong to me. The white is on white, so you don't really even see where you're joining things. So I'm just gonna put a small line of glue here and then make sure I've got it the right way. And I don't know, you can see, I don't know if the lines line up better one way or the other. Make sure I didn't get glue on one side before flipping it. You can try and see if it lines up better one way than the other. And the nice thing with glue is you've got a bit of time to wiggle it to get it just right. And you got to give it a chance to dry. It does dry pretty quick, but you know, don't rush it. So then now, instead of having, so this card would have been original, you know, your usual regular portrait type card, but now you have a fancy Z-fold card, and this is kind of the heavier cardstock. It's heavier than your designer series paper. So there is this pattern in the designer series paper, but this one is from the paper pumpkin, so it's actual thicker cardstock. And then, so I've pulled out, these are pieces from the paper pumpkin, and I have 4 cards to show you. So I thought I would do this easier version, and then I'll show you the one I did using the stamps and dies from the suite. But so for this one, right now, I'm just going with the paper pumpkin version. So when you're putting a piece on, you want to make sure that you're only gluing it from this edge back. You don't want to glue it down because you want to be able to open it. And then you want to have a white piece. And I thought these are close, but not quite. They're from the branching out dies from the mini catalog. It's close in shape, but I did, so there's one that is just slightly larger than this one, and then this one was smaller, so I figured it'd be easier to hide it. And I thought about cutting it in vanilla because that's kind of the theme of the paper pumpkin, but the back side of this is actually in white, so I thought maybe go with white. That was my my thinking there. So I did, these pumpkins were part of the ephemera with the kit. I did, let's see if I can find them. Oh no, I ended up putting them in the card. I had stamped the pumpkins from the paper pumpkin kit. They're cute little pumpkins, and I had cut them out to put them here, but I stamped them with the copper embossing powder. But it just, because this, I don't know if you can see it, this has that shiny edge around it. So I thought, oh, I'll add a bit more shine to it. But I just found it was too much for the card. So I backed off. Now, I'm going to find my dimensionals here. I'll put one big one smaller ones. So you could put them here. I think in the paper pumpkin, I can't remember. They also had, they also had the fox, but I'm just gonna put the pumpkins. And then it had a sentiment. So the sentiments usually come all kind of like the ephemera style, already punched. You just have to punch it out. And I'm going to use the early espresso. And I feel like my U is just slightly crooked for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe if I line it up on here, it feels like it has a curl to it when I was stamping it. Let's see if that works better. Let's wipe this so we don't get it on our card. It still looks off to me. Does it? Here, you guys can tell me once. Oh, I guess, does it look like it? The U is like kind of going downhill. Anyways. Okay, so then here, I'll show you the paper pumpkin instructions. So in this one, they did turn it this way, but then as a regular card, it would just flip open. So the way we've done it now, it opens this way. So there they have the fox and the thinking of you they did in Cajun Craze. Maybe I should have done it in Cajun Craze. You know what? I almost feel like it needs to be in very vanilla. I find the white is too stark, maybe because of the early espresso. Oh, maybe I could do it in the copper. Let's try that. See if that helps. Okay, so we want that at that end. And then we will, oh, I forgot to, my chamois had dried out, so I put it in the sink. I didn't have time to fiddle with it, so I just put it in there thinking, oh, it'll plump up and then I'll grab it, and I forgot to grab it. So put some Versamark. Oh, I think I even put the powder away. See how I'm trying to be good at cleaning up as I go, so it's not such a mess. Anyways, I'm gonna so here we have the copper. And I'm gonna get my little handy dandy tweezers here to help me out. Oopsie. I blew it a little too hard. It all went away. There we go. Just, there's some extra here. Okay. Then we'll heat that. Let me just heat up my tool. But while that's heating, clean up the powder. Okay. It's like I'm not hitting the T. Oh, there we go. Must have been angling it the wrong way. It didn't want to go. All right. Let's see if that looks better. I think that's better. What do you guys think? This one? That one's good. I think it would be better if it was on vanilla. Or this one. What do you think? Let me know. While I'm waiting for that, since there's a bit of a delay in the video, I'm going to know where to put my dimensionals. I'm kind of making sure it's even on these two sides, and I know I'm going to put some right along the edge, and then I'll put the rest onto here, depending on, so I'll put some on this edge. And then maybe a little overkill, but two in the middle. Since this is the part that might get pulled and more manipulated, I'd rather it be stuck down. Okay, and then you just kind of center it. And then so then you know that it's not off the edge. You like the copper. Okay, let's go with the copper because I like the copper too. I'm liking the copper. I think I'm just gonna make it flat. So that's the nice thing with the sentiments is you have two chances, and the bit with the my mouth is having troubles keeping up with my brain. With the paper pumpkin, they usually give you one extra sentiment. So not only do you have the backs, but you have an extra one as well. So 2 extra chances at getting things right. So then in order to put this one down and kind of have it centered, what I like to do is I'll line it up with this one and then just bring it down, and I still want to make sure it's centered, which it is. Plop it down, and then I know it's not going to show around the edges. So if you have something that's the exact same size, then you can just line it up and then close it, and you know that it's not going to show. So this, oh, I forgot my little, this one has the little geese flying. I'm not sure where my geese are right now. I'll have to add them later, but you've got the gist of it. So this is the one that I made. So this is still the paper pumpkin card base. These are the pumpkins that I made using the copper embossing powder, and I used the blender pen with some pumpkin pie to do the pumpkins. And then I stamped this one as well. This is from the stamp set Amber Autumn. Yes. Also in the copper. And then I just blender brushed all the colors, and I switched to white here, and then I used also the foil. And now normally when you have a nice big piece of foil like this and the center is hidden, I would cut something out, but because you're seeing the back of it, I didn't. I probably could have put another piece of white or something on the back to hide that, but I didn't. And so for this one, this is the same size, so I lined them up together and I closed it so that it's nicely hidden. So that is the one. So this is the designer series paper from the suite. This is from the stamp set. This is from the paper pumpkin. And then you've got the embellishments, which I thought I had. Oh, here it is. Like I thought I had 3. Does it not? I wonder why it's running away. I must not have pushed. Sometimes I don't push them down right away because I'm not sure where I want them. And yeah, So they're both pretty different looks. I should have done the thinking of you in the copper now that I see that, but that's okay. Just another look. All right, so that is the first card. Next, what's my next one? Ah, yes, okay. So my next one is the fun leaf background. I've kept this super simple, nothing fancy, but it still packs a lot of punch just because I feel like that background is the star. Sorry, I don't know where this adhesive came from, but there's some sticky on here. Okay, so we've got our, this is thick white that I did, and then I've got another piece. It's the same size, so it's 5.5 by 4.25. And I did not pre-cut this for a good reason, because I'm going to take and I'm going to blend some color onto my paper before I cut it, because the background die is quite detailed, and I felt like if I tried to blender brush, then you're going to be fighting with it and possibly tearing it and whatever. So I just I decided to take the easy way. Shoot, I have light brown out, but I don't have dark brown out. Why is that? Here we go. I think so. You'll see a difference. I'm not sure if this, in my original one, I hadn't looked at the colors for the suite, and so I had pulled out crumb cake because I think I was trying to kind of match like this color, and so my other one's probably going to look a bit different when I show you, because this one will be more of a brown and the other one is more kind of tan, not tan, has a bit more gray to it. I don't know. And for this, I'm not too worried about having a smooth look, because the more kind of variation there is to your paper, the more texture and interest the leaves will have when you cut it out. So I wouldn't worry too much about, like, I actually want the the swirls and the unevenness. It might upset some of you out there. It's a scary, I know, even for myself, it's a scary thing to have it not nice and smooth. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, here I'll pull the big boss over so you can see it. Oh, I'm having elbow trouble, so I'm seriously contemplating an electric die cutting machine. I've never had issues, but till I did, actually that's not true. Sometimes I had shoulder. Anyways, but it's never really bugged me as much as this is now. I've been able to manage, but now maybe I just need to learn to use my left hand. I have been when it's really bugging me. I'm so not ambidextrous. I have to learn. I'm gonna have to learn. I can learn new things. All right. So I'm just gonna take my brush here. Help me get out all the extra little pieces. It does fall out pretty good, but for the sake of time, oh, that's a piece of this. That's an old brush. It's a very old brush. It even has, it was a Stampin' Up brush. but now they have it that it attaches to the Take-A-Pic tool. And I have it. This one's always there and ready to go. I haven't tried the other brush. Maybe it's better because, I mean, they must have got rid of that one for a reason. Maybe the new one is better. You could leave some of these pieces and parts in. Totally doesn't matter. Just depends. Okay, so you can see how it kind of gives you that nice textured look by having the it says toilet. Oh my gosh. I didn't even, oh, now that you say that's so funny. Yes, I will have to change that. Thank you for letting me know. That's hilarious. Oh my. Autumn toilet. Well, it might pique people's interest, but yeah, I don't think that's the title we need. Thank you. All right, so this, oh, that doesn't go on there. Where's my other piece? Did I forget a piece? You could just put it on there, but what I ended up doing is I don't know if you can see it. This is the linen. This is one of the card bases from the paper pumpkin. It has that little bit of a linen look to it. So I just thought, you know, it's not, so this is on the linen versus just straight white. So I just find that's too stark. I prefer this. And what I did do was I added dimensionals around. You can't make comments on your phone. I wonder why. I know it's easier to watch and not comment because I think usually it eats up a large space. If you do get the comments in there, but I guess I don't know if I watch YouTube on my phone, but maybe not as much as on my iPad. Okay, so then I did put I cut some small pieces if I can find. I don't want to bore you guys with all this finicky part. But you know, you can just cut some small pieces and just put them on the leaves so that they don't totally fall. It just pops them up a little bit. And just a few to have another little one. Now I'm like in my head, remember to change that toilet. Because knowing myself, I will forget. My brain is not working well. All right, that should be good. Okay, and then I would peel it and put it here. We're not going to take the time to do that. Then the paper pumpkin came with this ribbon pre-cut, and I believe it is pecan pie. So there was 3 of them probably. Yeah, I used 1, so I've got 2 left. And then I can go straight across, but I could also use the one from the sweet. You could layer them. That's a pretty look. That's really pretty. My ciseaux. Okay, let's see. So maybe to here-ish. And then we'll cut. So if this goes this way, and cut this way. And then we have our thankful. This isn't wanting to stay well. So then I cut out the little acorn from the paper pumpkin dies. And I find whenever you just cut out from cardstock, it's pretty blah. And so I like to take a brush and add, I don't think there's enough color on here. Just add a little bit of extra ink. And it just kind of steps it up a little bit. Gives it a little bit of life. You could use your blends and color the paper. You could use just markers, anything really. And then I don't think this piece needs it, but then I'm going to put a very fine, oops, a little line of glue because I don't want it all coming out the top. But you can see then it just adds that kind of added interest to it. So then I'll show you so you can see what I'm talking about when I said I used crumb cake. So it's quite different. I think they're both pretty in their own right. I think the acorn, this is a little bit more monochromatic, but either one I think works. Do you guys have a preference? As to which one you think looks better? Do you like it with two tones or all one? I do like this added ribbon to it. All right, that is card number 2. Then, like I said, I have 4 cards today, but this next one is just quick because it is another kind of take on the paper pumpkin one. But I'm going to then show you, so with this one, you could keep making very similar ones to this. You could make more than the 3 because you can do the same thing with the tree die. So for this one, I've got just my 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock. I folded it in half, so at 4 1/4. I'm going to score it again. So if this is 4 1/4, I'm going to score it at 2 1/8. And then this gets folded back. So another Z-fold. You could totally leave it straight and just do it that way. So I have 1/2 of the card base from the paper pumpkin cards. I'm going to cut it down to 4. Oops, my blade is not in the track. There we go. 4 by 5 1/4. So we have a 1/4 of an inch off all the way around. And that way you get a nice edge. So if you just like your cards to be flat, you don't like the fancy folds, easy peasy. You could just do it this way, This way gives it just another, and then it just opens this way. So whatever your preference is. Once again, you're only wanting to glue on this side. So another way you can do it is, again, I'm going to put my seal along the edge, and I know I want to leave a little bit of an edge because there's that frame around. I do find it, if you have a hard time lining things up, you might prefer to use the green glue because, see, it's a bit more for, you have time to kind of wiggle it around and make sure it is where you want it, but either way. So then the paper pumpkin has this beautiful little frame and tree. Now, again, you probably can't see it on the video, but the frame has the nice metallic foiling through it. And then I really like the fox with the tree because they just go so well together. But what I was saying is you can repeat this. You could cut out any kind of frame with whatever dies. And then, where's my tree? So this tree is going to be for another card, so I won't cut it. But you can actually see if I put it kind of halfway like this, you can have the tree in the background, and then there's leaves that go on top of the tree, so you could have that same look. So you could keep repeating this look using the dies from the bundles. All right, once again, you could put it flat or you can pop it up, whatever your preference is. I don't know why these ones are here. I may as well use them. These are just fit. One side is a bit thicker than the other. There's a bit more room on that side. And then, if you want your tree to not get caught, you can add a few. Okay, and then we can stick it down. I don't know, I'm hoping you can't hear my puppy in the background moaning and groaning. She is a talker. It is a gloomy day here today. Not used to not having that sunshine. Oh, that one's off. Oh, that one's off. I did more than I thought. Okay. So then again, it's just a matter of, I did try, actually, before I stick this down, I could show you if I can find it again. I did try to make a background. I did one with the rock, one without. I had green stuff on my finger. So that looks pretty as well. But then, I don't know, it looked funny. I felt like it looked funny with the toile and the colored. I feel like it's better with kind of the neutrals, the browns. Maybe it's just me. But I preferred it this way, but that's another idea that you could use, especially with all the grass and the rocks and stuff that it comes with. And then you can pop your fox up, or you can put no fox. I did put the fox, and then I kind of struggled with where to put my sentiment. So maybe we'll try without the fox, because I only have 3 foxes. I gotta use him sparingly. There are the foxes in the designer series paper, but I don't think They are as big or as cuttable. Is that a word? Let's see. I guess this guy, he's a bit smaller, but you could cut them out, I guess. So if you want more foxes, you could cut them out of the designer series paper. That one, the Brother Scan and Cut will not be able to cut unless maybe you're a magician and know how to get that going. For those of you who know, I like to cheat. I don't love to fussy cut. I don't even know where my stamp is. I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna just bring in the one that I already made because I don't know where my warm wishes is. Anyways, everything's buried. I have too many things out today. So I hadn't pulled out the actual suite to know what went with what. And this one I used the, what are they called? There's some kind of glitter dot, and they're Cajun Craze something. So I thought, oh, what better to use, because it's the wood dots that actually go with this. So the wood dots would look great. The Cajun dots match the leaves. So obviously either or ends up working. And so I did put the warm wishes up here, but if you don't have the fox, you could put it down lower. And then I wanted this one to be a birthday. I have lots of birthdays in September. So I just thought I wanted to make some fall birthday cards. So that is kind of what I went with for that one. Put that back in the paper pumpkin. Okay, where did I put my other cards? I'm gonna have them all lost by the time I go to show them at the end. All right, so card number 4. I'm whipping through today. All right, so like I said, I cut out, so this is the tree cut out from the die. And then I wanted, so there's leaves that you can cut out. So these are the leaves. So this tree part, you need the outline to cut it out. Now you can cut out just an outline of the tree, which I had done because I wasn't sure if I wanted something behind. Let me see if I can, here it is, hang on. So I had cut it out in pecan pie because I wasn't sure if I would want something in behind, but obviously I think you'd want like blue or something to look like the sky. So, or maybe more leafy, I don't know. But you could cut out an extra piece and put it behind if you wanted to have something, like if you had a really busy background and you didn't want that to be behind the tree, you could do that. So then I have a piece of basic white and I have my orange and my yellow because I'm going to take my Cajun Craze and Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm not going to worry about it being smooth because this is for the leaves again. So you want it to have some texture to it. And we got the barky bark here again today. She always seems to be here on Wednesdays. Just perfect. She's been pretty good lately though, I can't complain. Okay, so I don't know if you've figured out what why I've got the two. You could blend them even more. You could have them all blended, but what I decided to do, I don't know if it's meant to, but it works. I ended up cutting out 2 sets of leaves because the leaves kind of fit, I will show you, just perfectly. So say if you just cut like here. So we're going to pretend magic of television, just run it through. Okay, look, I have my leaves. So you could just have the one set of leaves, and it kind of like fits quite nicely, but I thought, why not have two and really punch it up? So what I did was I kind of turned it a little, and then I turned this one a little, or you could even, like, you could cut pieces and, no, this is why it's not working, because I put this one behind and then this one. So if you try and fill like the spots that didn't have the leaves, then it kind of just lands. Obviously you stick one down at a time. And what I did, I went one step further, and I did the painstaking, I cut out, or I added dimensionals to spots of this to pop it up, just so it would have that much more dimension to it. So you could glue them flat. You could use adhesive sheet, but I just felt like because it's so detailed, it would cut better as paper and then to stick it down. So I kept it super simple. I've got an early espresso card base. And then I've got the linen piece again, which I would cut down. I like to have the nice frame, so we'll go 4 by 5 1/4 again. So then you've got that frame, and then you can put your tree on. And then I just ended up stamping the thinking of you, but I might actually, you know what, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna do a happy birthday for this one because I need some more birthday cards. But anyways, this is the finished one. So you can see I've popped it up. So what I did was I popped up the bottom one, so the red leaves, and then for the yellow one, I put some glue in this main spot and I glued it down because there was leaves right under it. And then wherever things were kind of, like this one's not glued down, but wherever things were dangling and had enough room, I added a couple of the mini dimensionals. So technically it is in most places, and I popped up the tree as well. So you've got at least a double thick card. So you probably wouldn't want to run this one through the mail. You'd probably want to glue it down, or at least glue your tree down and not pop that part up. And then, so when I stamped the thinking of you, I just fussy cut. I just finished saying I hate fussy cutting. And then I've got a bunch of fussy cutting. I fussy cut the thinking of you, and now I have a pretty tree. But it's super simple. You can see, you can get a lot of, you can get a big effect for not a lot of work. I mean, the biggest amount of work is putting the dimensionals on, I think. So there's the thankful and the warm wishes. And where's my last one? I told you, I knew I would lose at least one because it's just too many. Where did the other one go? I so don't see it. That is so weird. The brown, the other Z fold. Oh, here they are. They got buried under everything. Okay. So there's our other ones that I did. So that is kind of just the tip of the iceberg for this suite. Like you saw, there is so much to it. you know, with the 2 bundles and the designer series paper and the paper pumpkin and you could just keep on going and going. So sky's the limit. If you guys have this suite and you're making stuff, I would love to see what you make. You can tag me or comment and add a picture. I'd love to see what you're making. All right, well, hopefully this gets your creative minds going and you go do some card making or paper crafting or whatever. Whatever makes you happy. All right, hopefully you have a great rest of your week and I will be here next Wednesday. All right, have a great week. Bye.